Hello and welcome back to We Are Crafted in His Image. Today we are on project number 3 in our April Coco and Crafts class with the Snailed It stamp set. And I actually don't even have a sample to show you. I used the one that I have and I sent it to somebody. So we're going to just get going and make a new one. So there we go. In your kit we have 2 bases. We have 2 pieces that have already been embossed with the Pinewood Planks, I believe is the name of this embossing folder. And I will tell you, this embossing folder is retiring. So if you like it, you're going to want to pick it up soon. It's retiring. I'm so sad. I like that one. It's a nice neutral. Okay, and then we have an envelope with some little pieces and parts in it. Let's get those all out of here. Here we go. And there we go. So, alright, we have some little strips. We have some pieces that need to be stamped on. So, let's go ahead and get out. Our first one is going to be this little guy. Now in last week's I mentioned something about cutting this, and I decided to go ahead and do that for this card. You do not have to if you don't want to, but I just went ahead and cut mine apart to make it a little bit easier, because on the front of the card I'm going to stamp just this image here. Now you can, there are many ways to do where you just ink up this and go ahead and stamp down, but I just wanted to show you that it's really not that hard. They'll be able to line up easily if you ever want to put them right back, but now I have, it's a little more options as far as stamping goes. If you don't want to cut yours apart and you're going to do this, I'll show you real quick. When you go to ink up the front of the card, you can use your ink pad and simply kind of watch what you're doing and just get ink on there. You can also take a piece of tape and tape across these areas and just ink it as usual and then pull the tape off. Make sure you pull the tape off before you stamp down. Not that I know that from experience, but you could do it either one of those ways, works well for, or if you happen to have a black marker, Stampin' Write marker, you can simply color the words with the marker. Now do not attempt this with a blends and alcohol marker. Don't do it with those. These do not work that way. They dry too quickly. The color, it has to stay wet in order for it to then transfer to your paper, and the blends won't do that. So you're going to want to use a water-based marker for that. So I'm going to go and clean that off real quick. Alright, got that clean. Now, I'm going to take this piece off right now because I want just the snail. And if you have it together to do this next step, that doesn't matter. We're stamping on one of the die cuts again, and it's not going to stamp the words on it. So, let me go ahead and ink my snail up. Then I'm going to take, we don't want the one with this little doodad. There should be 4 of those. We don't want that right now. We want this little guy right here. Alright, so what I'm going to do is like I did the last time, turn it upside down and try and center it over the snail. Take another stamp, or another block, excuse me, push down, and there we have our little image. I'm getting better at that. Go ahead and do the second one. There we go. So he's done. I think I'm actually going to stamp him on the front of my envelope as well, because he's just cute. Go ahead and ink that up. Yep. Do it again. Now I am not going to sit and color these today. I may color one of them depending on how long this takes, but I think that just might take too long on the video for you to watch me color. So we have those two little guys done. Envelope is done. Now I would like the little heart stamp. I can get a smaller block for that. Doesn't really matter. I'm just going to stamp a little heart inside the two word windows or word bubbles. And I think I want the little, whatever you call that, tab coming off to this side, so it's going to be on my snail like that. So put my heart facing, whoop, that direction. There we go. Clean that off. And now we need the bigger snail. Get my little blocks put away. All right, now I did say there are 4 of these. You only need 2 of them. So I'm gonna grab these 2 here. This one I can see the texture from my cutting mat on it, so I'm gonna save that. These are gonna be in the back, so I'm gonna stamp on these 2. And same as before, we're gonna do this upside down. Put my stamp there. Go ahead and line up the present. Oh, I might be a little off on that. Little off on the bottom. Let's see. A little bit, but not too bad. Not too bad at all. I think that's the spot that I get every single time. Well, not every time, but anytime it's off, that's the spot that's off for me. Let me try lining that up instead of the eyes. Now the nice thing with this card is because you have 4 of them, if you make a mistake on one of the first 2, you can always use the back piece. Yay! That looks pretty good. Okay. So those are done. I am going to put some of the mushrooms on the inside of our card. Let me move this. Let me put all of these. Actually, you know what? I do need to color these 2 before I assemble, because there will be really no way to color them once it is assembled. That's just not going to happen. So, okay. There's my card base. And one of the things I do like about using the watercolor pencils as opposed to our blends for this particular card is if you were to use the blends on this, where I'm going to stamp these mushrooms, there is a high probability that the blends will actually bleed through to the back of your paper, whereas the watercolor pencils are not going to do that. So I do love the blends, but for this case, definitely anytime you're using the blends, you want to make sure the back of your image is going to be covered by something. There we go. So those are done, and now I want to stamp. I don't think I'm going to put any words here on the inside, but I do have some words going to go here, but I'm going to wait on that for just a minute. Actually, no, we'll go ahead and do that. All right, what I'm going to do is we're going to take this piece here and we're going to tear off. Oh, did I cut these? Wait. Oh, no, that's right. This is actually the same size as the front of your card. There should not be any border around it. Where's my little snail? He's going to go around here, and my words, you've got mail, are going to go right about here. So I want to tear across this, about this area here. So on mine, it's right about there. And I'm just going to get it started. Just tear the paper just like it says. Just like that. And it just gives you a really cool little edge, a little border to it. And it gives you a space to stamp down here, a sentiment of some kind. Now if you want to switch this out and make it a birthday card, that's a good spot to put a happy birthday stamp. And I think I'm going to just use this to measure this one and tear across the same. And if you want, you can actually take something like this and set it there to help make sure it doesn't go too high up. But really, to me, it's usually easier just to get my hands in there and tear. You'll find that the paper tears better one way than the other. Like this one here would have torn very easily this direction. This way was giving me a harder time, but it still works well. So there we go. This is done. All right, so now that I know how far down this is going to go, then I can go ahead and stamp my image, or stamp my sentiment down there at the bottom. So now I'm going to grab my You've Got Mail here. And one of the things I am going to do, let me grab a scrap piece of one of my mats here, is I'm going to turn it over and I'm going to eyeball. I am going to try and stamp the You've Got, no, I'm going to try to stamp the word mail, the bottom of the word mail, right along this line. I'm just going to see what happens if I'm using that sticker as my guide. Okay, so that shows me that I was aiming for the bottom of that and it's down much further, but it is pretty straight. I might want to turn my stamp just a little. Now, if I were using my Stamparatus, this would be much, much easier. I could get it all lined up perfectly, but I'm not going to use that today. That's pretty good. So basically, I know that this is pretty well centered. Let me actually just set this down here and line it on my block a little bit better. Ooh, that was lined up nicely. Okay, let's try again. I'm going to go on that line. Okay, I seem to be going slightly down, so I'm going to lift it slightly up. So we'll see how this works. But that's what I like to do to make sure my words, because sometimes the sticker does not match the actual stamp perfectly, and you may have to adjust how you stamp it just to make it line up straight. All right, so I said it was going down a little, so I'm going to lift it. Sorry if my head gets in the way here. Oh, not too bad. Not too bad at all. I like it. Whoops. Come here. I think I might even bring it up just a bit and over here a bit. There we go. Nice. Nice, nice, nice. Okay, so before we assemble, I am going to go ahead and color those two snails. So let's get this out of the way. Grab my two snails. These guys I can color a little later. And let's see, what color do we want to do on this one? I like the snail bodies to be kind of a browny coral color, brownish coral color. So I'm going to start with a light brown. I'm going to do this, try to do this quickly. Oh, you know what? I'm going to zoom in again for you. Oh, I'm going to have to move my camera to do that. Hold on. Alright, sorry. There we go. Okay, I think it's working. Okay, so I'm going to color in. You can see I'm kind of scribbling, really. And I don't want it too dark. Snails are not dark brown. So I'm not going to go dark. But I am going to give it a little bit of darkness at the bottom. And like right under the shell. And because I want it maybe a little bit of a coral in there, let me throw this Calypso coral on top. Alright, what color should we do the shell? Actually, I'm going to do both. Color both of the same color at the same time here. Do the browns. Get the browns in there. And I'm trying to think of what color I want to do. I think I want a little bit darker down here at the bottom. I don't think I did dark enough on the other one. Can you hear me okay? I hope so. Someone mentioned in one of my last videos couldn't hear super well. I may have to look into getting a microphone so you can hear me better. But for now, there we go. So I'm coloring that a little bit darker there. Okay, and get the coral on this one. I also did a little bit darker right underneath those little eyeballs. So it looks like the eyes are casting a shadow onto the snail itself. Alright, then let's do some blending. Oh, I didn't darken this under this eye sockets. Blend that out. There we go. See how that dark just kind of blends in? Oh, I love it. Okay, there's that one. And this one. And I think since we've got a green background, I think I'm going to use green on those little stripy areas. I think we'll go with yellow and green on this one. Okay, so there's that. So let's grab our yellow and color in the main part of the shell. And again, I'm just kind of scribbling some color on there because I know my blender pen is going to blend those lines out for me. Okay, now I want to go in with some green. Actually, I want to use, I think, orange to create some shadows. So I'm going to just put the orange at the base of that curve of the shell, like that, and a little bit on this one as well. There we go. And I'm doing this kind of quickly, not being super neat with it. Maybe go up the side here a little bit more. Okay, and then I'm going to come in with the green and put that on our stripes. And you don't have to do the stripes a different color. You can keep them the same color as your shell if you wanted. I just want to pull a little bit of green from that background piece. And then what color should we do the packaging? Should we make them just look white? But we can't leave them like that. We need to create a little shadow. So I'm going to use the basic gray and just create some shadows on here. And do the same thing on this one. Now, before I do any blending, I do want to make sure, especially on that white, that my blender pen is completely clear. And then I can come in and blend that gray out. There we go. Same thing here. See how that softens that up? And now it just looks like a shadow on the side. Okay, and then we're going to do the yellow. And I'm going to try to avoid the green because I don't want the green to bleed into the yellow too much. So I'm going to do one little section at a time, starting with the lighter and working my way towards those shadows. And then here, same thing. And we're almost done with this little guy. And there we go. There's one done. Let me do this one. Actually I got to do the green because it does look a little streaky to me, so I will do the green, but let me finish up this yellow first. And when I do the green, I'm not going to worry about cleaning the yellow off of it. If you have a lot of these to do, this is a fun thing to do, like if you're watching a TV show or something like that. There we go. And then I do want to go in and kind of smooth those greens out a little bit. Especially like where that one at the orange was quite distinct. Let's go in with this one. There we go. Okay, so those are done, and now let's start assembling. All right. So to put this together, first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go and do the front. I'm going to go ahead and get my adhesive out here. It's funny, when I color, I lower my seat down so that I'm closer to the paper. But then when I start doing this, I feel like I'm super short, so I need to lift my seat back up again. There we go. And I am putting a bit more adhesive than I normally do on the edges, especially because this is a textured piece, and sometimes it's not going to lay flat as easily. So you want to put some adhesive on there, okay? Don't be super shy with it. And then come here. There we go. The main thing you want to do is make sure your top is lined up with the score line, and your sides are lined up well on, at least one side is lined up. Now, of course, our cutting isn't always absolutely perfect, so I like to line up one side completely, and that way if I need to trim, I only have to trim the other side. And this one looks good. I don't see any green showing. So I'm going to go ahead and score while I'm at it here. Or not score, fold. It's already scored. All right, let's grab this one. Come here, out of the way. And again, I'm going to line up on that score line, and I am lining up with the side closest to me, making sure it's straight. And we look good. I don't see any green on the other side. And occasionally you will, because the cutter doesn't always get it exactly perfect. You may end up with a little extra hanging on one side, and that's pretty easy to just trim off with a pair of paper snips. Okay, so burnish down those score lines. And let's put these little guys on. Now, if you do like I'm doing and wait to color this in later, you may find your pencil marks actually pick up some of this texture. I will have to color very, very lightly when I put those on. Where did I do? There it is. Where's my adhesive? I actually, confession, I have not colored in the ones I did last week yet. I need to do that today. Get them colored so I can use them, because they are so cute. All right, let's put, you know what? I'm gonna pop my little hearts up on dimensionals, so I am gonna go ahead and color them right now, because once they're up on dimensionals, they're gonna be a bit harder to color in. So I'm just gonna color in my little hearts. There we go. A little bit darker on one side, again, just to make some shadows. Give it a little bit of depth. And blender pen. There's my pink side. Oh, and I gotta remember to zoom you back out again so you can see the rest of this. So let me do that before I forget. Okay. So to do the rest of the card, I am going to pop these on dimensionals. Let me grab those real quick. One on the back of each. Plenty. Come here, little guy. And then put it above your little snail. He's sending some love. All right, and now comes the super fun part. We're going to put together our little pop-up snail. So to do that, you have 2 pieces of cardstock in here, and you're going to just take one of them and you just fold it in half. Okay, it doesn't have to be perfect, just give it a fold there. Actually do the same with the other one. All right, and then this is going to get adhered to, you notice we have 2 that are blank, and you want to make sure they're facing the same direction as the ones we've colored. Okay. Then I'm going to take, I think I'm going to use my Stampin' Seal Plus, just so it's got a little bit more adhesion, a little bit better hold. And I'm leaving a little bit of space right here. I don't want to take it, well, Yeah. Yes, no, yes, no. I think right about there. Okay, so I'm holding this so I know where to put the... Ooh, it's all off to the side. I don't want that. Alright. Come here, tape. Get back where you belong. There we go. Let's try that again. There we go. So, now I'm going to flip this over and I'm going to stick this down. Pretty straight. Sticking out. And then I want to put some adhesive on here, but I'm not going to stick it down yet. I'm now going to get out some liquid adhesive because I want to glue this top portion of my snail down, and I mean, I guess I could go across here with it, but I want to get a little bit of glue on that one too, so I'm going to go ahead and just use our two-way glue pen, and I'm just going to put a little bit of glue here and a little bit on that little eye. And now I'm going to take one of the colored ones, and you want to make sure this lines up, so I'm going to do it on the gluey part first because you can adjust that. But once it sticks to this, it's not going to go anywhere. Alright. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Are you lined up? Okay, now I would normally want to let this sit for a minute or two to dry. So I'm going to set that one aside. In fact, I'm going to stick a block or two on top of that glue. Hold it down. Let's do the same thing on this one. Just about there. Can you see how much space I've got there? We're going to put a little bit of tape on it. Okay, so flip that over. Stick it down. Put a little bit more tape on this side. And then a little bit of glue here and up in there. Okay, you don't want too much, especially if you're using this. You don't want it sticking out because it will remain sticky. Alright, and now line up the eyes and the presents, and then stick it to the tape. Alright, so that one I will put under a block. And now this piece here we're going to trim off. So we want to trim about 1/2 inch off. So I will mark it with a pencil just so you can see. But you want to cut it off right there. So where are my paper snips? There they are. Just like that. And then you're going to fold towards the middle. Actually, just fold it back on itself for right now. There we go. And then, this is the fun part. Okay, some more adhesive. Nice, strong adhesive for this part. Make sure it is only on your tab. For some reason, mine keeps wanting to go to the side. There we go. And I'm going to decide where do I want my snail to be. Because she's facing this direction, I think I want her on this side, and that'll give me room to write down in here. And I could possibly write up here, but I can write down in here. So I'm going to take and just lay her face down because I put her glue on the front. And I'm making sure that the tab is right at my score line. So just stick that tab there. Put some more adhesive on the back of, make sure it's only on the tab. Okay, and then you simply close your card on top of that. And when you pick it up, ta-da! Can you see? Your little snail pops up. He's so cute. All right. Now, if you don't want it to see, this one is sticking out really, really far. I don't think I did my last one quite that far. Totally up to you. On this next one, I'm going to make it just a little bit smaller. I think I'll do 1/4 inch instead of 1/2 inch. So for this one, I'm going to go right there. So trim that down. Okay, and you can fold it by doing this. This is actually the easiest way to do it. Make sure it folds Put a little bit of adhesive. Now this one's going to be harder to get adhesive on because it's a much smaller little tab. Whoop, come back here. Put my snail down on the line there. Put some adhesive on this side, on this tab. This would be super cute to do with one of the old sets that we had that actually had a front and a back to the animal. Like we had this little cub, bear cub with the front and the back. This would be so cute because then you would actually have an image on the back as well. But here we go. Stamp that. And there we go. Can you see the difference in how far it pops out? So this one is a 1/2 inch. This one is a 1/4 inch. Whoop, 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 whoop. Stick down. Stay down. Let me get that down there really well. Here. Take your finger and put it inside there and make sure it's burnished down, or if you can, get this in here. I may actually want to use tear and tape on there just to hold it really well. But there we go. See? So cute. So here are our 2 cards. This girl here looks like she is totally doing the splits. Yeah, I like the 1/4 inch better than the 1/2 inch. What do you guys think? Can you see in the camera? I'm not sure what it's picking up, but there we go. So the inside I'm leaving blank. I'm going to color these in and color my snail here and even color my snail that's on my envelope. So there we go. This project is finished. Well, mine is almost finished. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoy this project on our little pop-up snail, and I will be back next week with another card with this with our Coco and Crafts. And also, I'm thinking about doing a series on just basic stamping techniques. So if you have some ideas of things that you would like to learn, like even things like how to re-ink our ink pads, you know, things like that. If you are interested and there's a topic that you're not sure about, drop me a message, make a note, or leave a message at the bottom of this and let me know what you'd be interested in me doing a video on. So until next week, you have a wonderful week. Enjoy the spring. I hope you get to see some beautiful flowers out, and God's love and blessings to you. Bye.